with law enforcement bracing for a fourth day of protests over the federal immigration raids in LA County.
Mario Ramirez beginning our team coverage. He's live in downtown LA with more on what the situation looks like now. Mario.
Good morning. We can tell you that most of the demonstrators, and as they're called agitators, have moved out of the area here at East and Temple, but there is still a heavy police presence from multiple agencies. I want to show you, this is again at the corner of Temple and Main Street, and we've been seeing Glendale, Inglewood, Montebello, Burbank, City of Bell, Monterey Park, and El Segundo law enforcement cruisers passing through this area. The street littered with trash. These officers met with demonstrators who started sparking criminal activity here, throwing objects, tagging buildings, and looting some downtown stores here. Now take a look. We have some video showing the response. That chaos erupting in downtown LA for a third straight day, possibly a fourth today, before an unlawful assembly was declared around the Civic Center area last night around 8 o'clock. Protesters facing off with law enforcement throughout the day yesterday, with tensions boiling over at multiple points. Dozens of arrests were reported as protesters started throwing objects, including bottles and rocks. Trash cans and vehicles were set ablaze. Several police cruisers also damaged. And as the crowds were starting to slowly clear out, we talked to some stranded here in the area because of access to the roads or cars, including one person who described the scene like this. Listen.
What I see is racism and abuse. LA is rammed with Mexicans. The right way to do it is just let it be. Let the community live by its own.
Trying to get home. I just left the office and it's been complete chaos out here. I came through the Chinatown area and unfortunately there was tons of protest activities all around. They were using extreme force and tear gas on regular civilians. It's almost like a third world country out here. I can't believe I would see this in the streets of LA. You would think this would be a scene from like Call of Duty or something.
Now, we don't see any out here this morning at our location, but National Guard troops arrived in downtown LA a little over 24 hours ago, early Sunday morning, after President Trump ordered their deployment. And this activity unfolding as the governor continued to publicly criticize Trump, accusing the administration of exploiting the unrest taking place across Southern California. And back here at this busy intersection, we know that there were 10 people taken into custody, including someone accused of throwing a Molotov cocktail at officers, another allegedly ramming a police line with a motorcycle, injuring 2 officers, and again multiple closures here at intersections in the downtown area. For now, that's the latest here downtown. I'm Mario Ramirez. We'll send it back to you.
You know, one of the challenges, Mario, you and other crews who've been out there covering this is what we can and cannot show. And I know many buildings and many vehicles that have been tagged with inappropriate language, and it's been really hard to kind of maneuver around that as we try to show people what is going on exactly.
Yeah, and we've seen it for a few blocks. Nearly every building, every sidewalk or structure is tagged, and they do contain expletives, so it is difficult to show the scene, but definitely a lot of graffiti and vandalism here on so many buildings downtown.
All right, Mario, we will check in with you in just a bit. Well, there were, as you mentioned, dozens of arrests over the weekend after those protests turned violent and destructive at times.
Gigi Gracia joining us now with more on the last couple of days of clashes, and there she is in front of a business that, well, has been vandalized. Gigi, good morning.
It's actually been looted, Roxia, and every building around us. Same situation as Mario. We can't show you, but every building around us here on 3rd and Broadway has been tagged with expletives, mainly against ICE, Immigration, Customs, and Enforcement. Now, you're looking at the T-Mobile store. Board up folks were here all morning long working. The store was looted. Police confirmed. How many people broke in, unclear, and what they took, that'll have to come from T-Mobile once they do in inventory. But the store was damaged, and again, every single window broken. And this is only one business here in downtown LA. Take a look. This all started really heating up on Saturday in Paramount. That's where ICE was conducting an operation targeting undocumented immigrants. The word quickly spread, protesters arriving by the dozens, and that turned into an hours-long standoff that spilled into downtown Los Angeles yesterday, and that went on here till about 2 o'clock this morning when LAPD was still reporting their officers were taking bottles, rocks, lit fireworks. There are actually cars that police reported that were driving around to the different protesters, leaving them more fireworks, more bottles, more rocks to confront police, which no one seems to really understand, because LAPD has been very outspoken that they are not part of the federal raids. They are not enforcing any immigration law. That is a federal issue. And most police agencies have come out and said they're not going to enforce immigration laws. They have to work with immigrants, with the community, and they don't want to be seen as immigration officers. They are police officers just trying to keep the peace here in downtown LA. Now, there is a lot of damage throughout. There are officers from all over Southern California here right now, in addition, of course, to the National Guard. Reporting live, I'm Gigi Graciette. Back to you.
This all unfolded yesterday after a scheduled protest around 2 o'clock in the afternoon, but no scheduled protest today. But as we see, a lot of things just evolve as people see on social media and start gathering at certain places. So we'll watch that situation today. Gigi, thank you.
All right, let's show you this. Several driverless Waymos set on fire. This was yesterday. At least 5 driverless taxis were summoned to Los Angeles Street between Arcadia and Alameda. It was about 5 in the afternoon. That's when a group of agitators slashed the tires, smashed the windows, and tagged those vehicles before torching them. Authorities let the cars burn themselves out because of the release of toxic gases from the vehicle's lithium-ion batteries.
Well, President Trump spoke to reporters about federalizing the National Guard and sending more guardsmen to L.A. He also spoke of sending Marines.
We're going to have troops everywhere. We're not going to let this happen to our country. We're not going to let our country be torn apart like it was on the fight at this auto pen.
What's the bar for sending Marines to...
Bar is what I think it is. I mean, if we see danger to our country and to our citizens, we'll be very, very strong in terms of law and order. It's about law and order.
So here is the latest. President Trump has deployed 300 National Guard troops without the governor's approval. Law enforcement has used tear gas, rubber bullets to disperse crowds. Protesters have thrown fireworks, cemented police and federal troops. Governor Newsom has called the deployment a serious breach of state sovereignty and demanded the troops' removal.
And we want to let you know that the LA Unified School District Superintendent Alberto Carvalho will hold a news conference this morning on immigration enforcement activity across LA. This will be happening at 9:30 this morning at LAUSD headquarters. When that takes place, we are going to bring that to you live. Again, that's at 9:30 this morning.
Also happening today, right now, live look at LAX as President Trump's new travel ban goes into effect later on today. It impacts citizens from 12 countries considering high risk for terrorist activity by the White House. That does include Afghanistan, Haiti,